Hello, hello, hello world. Yes, what's going on, everybody? This is day 35 of our everyday community power hour where we come together, and let's go live here as well. We're going to go live on Instagram. Perfect. Okay. So this is day 35, everybody, of our daily community power hour, okay, where we come together to experience growth, to experience success, wealth, and fulfillment. If those are what you're about, if you're about any of the things I just said, which is success, wealth, growth, and fulfillment, this is our community power hour. We come together every day in attempting to grow together, to empower one another so that we could all experience life more on our own terms, instead of living it on the programs, basically based on the programs that we've been primed with since birth. So we're going to talk a lot about what the science says. We're going to talk a lot about strategies. And today, without further ado, since we haven't talked about business for a long time, let's just talk about some of your business questions, because we have so many that are coming in. Okay, so all right, there we go. We have Michelle Chang from Vancouver, Canada. What's going on, Michelle? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for speaking about your questions and concerns. So Michelle says, I love my business, but it has completely taken over my life. I answer emails at midnight. I never take weekends off, and my relationships are suffering. How do I create better work-life boundaries without feeling like I'm neglecting my business? That's an amazing question. That is a very, very good question, actually. Michelle, let's just talk about the founder's dilemma. That is always a founder's dilemma. See, when you want to start something off, it's always the case where you got to put your heart, soul, and everything you got into it. So essentially, you're not doing anything wrong by pouring all that you got into creating something new, which is a business. A business creation is a new possibility. And when you want to do anything new, you have to 100% commit yourself to doing whatever it takes, not what is enough. Because most of us just do enough, and enough is really not enough. Because is it really enough to get what you want? No, we must do whatever it takes, and you are doing whatever it takes. However, as somebody who's been in the world of strategic consulting and executive consulting for a long time, I could tell you one thing: prioritizing and time management are the most profound things that you can do to bring a level of harmony in your life. Because what you're missing right now is not, hello Nassim, thank you for joining us again. What you're missing right now is not time, and it's not relationships. It's your lack of prioritization on what is important. And this becomes a very important conversation. A lot of business founders, so many people around you, whoever you know right now, if Michelle's watching this live, you know this yourself personally, or if anybody else is watching this, you know somebody around you who owns their own business, and they are in the same boat as where Michelle is, just spending so much time on handling and putting out fires here and there that they don't actually get to spend any time on what matters the most to them, which is the real things. Like, we all do everything we do to experience life, yet a lot of times we forget that you're not working to live You're living to work. That's literally what a lot of people are experiencing today. So many people are living just to work, not working to live. And that again becomes a matter of priority. I want you to understand, if you want to get control of your time, of your schedules, of your finances, of your relationships, it really matters that you prioritize them in the right way. Now, the biggest takeaway and strategic tool that I could gift you with, Michelle, is automations. Automations and systemization is literally any business's best friend. And if you're watching this right now, you have your own business, that's your best friend too. If you're watching right now and somebody you know and you love owns their own business, this is their best friend too. If you don't have automations and systemization, essentially you're on a wild goose chase. You're the dog that's chasing its own tail, and that means you're always going to be running after your own tail. So what you want to do is to prioritize what matters to you the most, but also learn that as a business founder, you don't want to get stuck in operating the business. You want to become the business owner, and the only way you can do that is by systemizing, automating, and delegating tasks. This is so important. This is probably the least favorite thing of any business founder initially, because they're like, oh, I got to do everything myself. I'll do it perfectly. I know how to do everything. Yet, what happens is that only becomes an obstacle to your quality of life, as you just said. So you do not want to sacrifice, or you do not want to exchange giving up the most important part of being a human, which is the connections, which is the love, which is the relationships, at the expense of making more money or having more control over the outcomes of your business, therefore your life. So my friend Michelle, I invite you to please consider automations, systemizations, and delegation. Those three things are going to be your next best friends for the next 24 months as you commit to yourself that I need to flip my operations so that it can self-sustain and it could grow on its own. And by doing that, you're going to do yourself, your loved ones, your family, your community, and especially your business a lot more favor. Because a business with no systemization, automation, and delegational structure is a one-man show or a one-woman show, and it's never going to have any value when it comes to valuation of your business and even possibly exiting it. And what are you going to do when you turn 80 years old? What are you going to do when you turn 90 years old? You're no longer going to be able to sustain that work. 70, 60, you're not going to have the same energy right now as you have right now. So think ahead. Be smart. Don't get emotionally attached to your business. So many people do this by mistake. They start a business and then they call it, this is my baby. Same mistake people make with calling their pets their baby. Anybody that calls a pet their baby has a spoiled brat that is controlling their life. And it is not the pet's fault, it is always the owner's fault. Because the moment you do that, you're emotionally attaching yourself to a definition of what this thing represents in terms of the control it will have over you. You don't want to do that. Your company is a product of you and your mind's creation. Don't call it a baby. It's not a baby. And it is something that requires a lot of energy, time, effort, and love. And you're giving it all of those. Just remember that you're doing all of those things so you can experience life on your terms. And don't forget, the quality of the time, of the life that you experience is 100% connected to the quality of your relationships. So you have better relationships, that means you're going to have better quality of life. Okay, Michelle? I hope that helps. Moving on to the next question. We have Chris Adams from this one. Oh, we got 2 Canadians in a row today in the house. Chris is from Alberta, Okay, beautiful. Edmonton, Alberta. And what's Chris saying? Let's see. Chris says, ever since my business started taking off, I've noticed that some of my closest friends are becoming distant. Ooh, that always happens, isn't it? Or making passive aggressive comments about my success. Ooh, that's true. That happens more than you like. Happens way more than you like. I don't want to lose friendships, but I also don't want to shrink myself down for them. How do I navigate this without feeling guilty? Hmm. How many other people here have experienced this? Where the moment you start changing, and this has nothing to do with business success, the moment you start changing, you're going to lose people around you. And there are two reasons that you lose people around you. This is very important. Stay with it, because it doesn't matter whether you have a business or you don't have a business. If change and growth is something that you're excited about, then this is something that you will 100% experience as, hello, thank you so much. Yes, you could just leave it there. Thank you. You gotta understand this. The most foundational and the most critical reason that you will shed your circle and your friends around you the moment you start growing is because they feel one of the two things. They feel uncertain. You make them feel uncertain about control over their surroundings, because by you changing, you're literally telling them, I'm no longer the same person I used to be, that you used to know, and they don't know who you are anymore. And that brings uncertainty to them. And certainty is the most foundational thing that every human wants, of the 6 basic human needs to experience on a day in, day out basis. 98% of planet Earth wants to experience certainty most of the times as a primary driver of their decisions. And the moment you change, because you are now putting people in a state of uncertainty, which means I don't know who this person is anymore, why they changed so much, you start tripping their wires. Now, why do you trip their wires? Because they want to be certain of the outcome of every conversation, of every interaction, and that's what certainty means. And when you're not the same old person as before, and you don't act, you don't behave, you don't sleep, you don't talk, you don't present yourself the same way you used to, then you will start tripping their wires, and they're like, oh shit, I don't even know who this person is. This person is not making me feel certain any longer, because they used to. Now I'm no longer certain around them. I don't know their behavior. And here's the thing, number 2 reason that people leave you when you change is resentment. Resentment is actually one of the biggest reasons that people around you, especially and most importantly, family, friends, and loved ones, will leave you for. Because they resent the possibility of what you have tapped into, and you did the hard work, and they cannot see that they themselves are not able to experience what you are, because they don't have the discipline to put themselves through what you put yourself through. So I want you to understand, Chris, everybody who's ever been experiencing any path of success will tell you this, that the road to success is a road traveled alone. And that's the reason for it. Because you want to understand that you cannot expect other people around you to tag along on your journey of growth and embracing change and uncertainty, which is the most foundational necessity for you to be able to break through and experience something new, a new outcome. And most people fight, literally fight change, because they're clinging on to certainty. And that's, by the way, why the CIA splits the human population in 2 groups: the 98% who fight to keep their certainties of their beliefs about reality what is possible and what is not possible, and the 2% who are multidimensional, as the CIA calls them, and they're able to see that there is not only one version of truth in reality, and there are just infinite versions of reality that exists as truth. So I want you to, Chris, remember this. If you are on a committed path of growth and experiencing life on your terms, get used to the idea that, honestly, excellence can no longer be in the company of misery. And majority of human population are miserable on a day-to-day, on an hour-to-hour basis. We know this scientifically. This is not a personal perspective. We know that 60,000 thoughts a day go through our minds, 95% at a subconscious level, today the same as yesterday. And from those, 60% of them are focusing on what is not available, what is not right, and on fear. This is just science. And here's the thing, when you're a motivated person that is creating change in your life, in your health, in your wealth, in your relationship with your partner, and you're becoming more happy and you're becoming more successful by the metrics of what society, by the way, success is a very interesting definition. We're going to get to the definition of success, but when you do all of those things, and to the eyes of the people around you, you are becoming successful, you're exhibiting signs of success, then what happens quickly? Oh, this is very interesting. What happens really quickly is that they will be like, wait a second, how did they do that? Because just until a few months ago, Chris was not well off. How did he just make that money? Why can I not make that money? That's where the resentment comes in. And because you've changed who you are, by the way, this is very impressive. This is very not impressive, but critical for us to understand. So many of these, all these like new age posts all over the social media keep on saying, oh, you have to manifest, you have to create the vision in advance. And I agree with all of those things. They're very helpful. Creating the vision, experiencing the vision, reliving it in advance as if the dream is already fulfilled, is going to be able to recreate the emotional state within your body that will get it more familiar with the eventual state. That's why the concept of paradigm or quantum jumping or quantum shifting is coming from. However, it is very important to understand that the universe, God, existence, energy, whatever you want to believe in, does not give you what you want. It gives you who you are. It matches who you are. So if you're broke right now in finance, if you're broke in relationship quality, if you're broke in your mindset, that's because you're experiencing the life the way you are, not what you want. Because so many people are like, well, I want to be more rich. Why do I not have so money? I think about having more money all the time. It's not about thinking about it. It's about who you are. And who you are is not only thinking something and staying with it creates the feeling within the first 17 seconds. We actually know that as a 17-second rule. So 17 to 18 seconds, doesn't matter. Whatever you're thinking about, that becomes your most prominent feeling right away. So if you're thinking about you're lacking something, you're in fear of something, or you don't have anything, within 18 seconds of thinking about it, your body will now start feeling that sensation of lack, sensation of fear, and sensation of not being enough and having enough. Very important. Very important. And now, because of the way you're feeling, your decision making is affected 100% by your feelings, not your thoughts. How many times you thought you should eat something, but you still didn't feel hungry, therefore you didn't move to actually grab the food? How many times do you think you need to do something to get out of a relationship or get into a relationship, yet you don't do it because your feelings are not supporting you on that path? That's the absolute truth. Yesterday we had Paul here with us on day 34 of our daily community power hour, when he was talking about how he lost his relationship and how his wife took the business and everything, and he's left feeling like he has nothing right now. And then the important thing I want to talk to you about is that he said, when I asked him, that yes, he saw so many red flags. He consciously knew red flags existed that he could have acted on before. He didn't. Why? Because the fear of losing what I have right now is more powerful than the thought that, oh shit, this is about to go down, I need to do something about it. That's why I keep on telling you, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. You get what you are. If you want to experience anything, you must be able to manage your feelings, because until your feelings are not aligned with your thoughts and they're not supportive on the direction that you want to take steps in, then you're never going to take those massive actions required to create the shift and change in your life in any direction. So I want to have a better job. I want to have more money. Garbage. Garbage. It's useless. It's absolutely irrelevant what you want. And I'm telling you this because this is literally what we get paid for, thousands and thousands of dollars to do this with our clients. I'm literally gifting this to you as the information that can hopefully give you the mind shift that you need in order for you to step into who you need to be to experience life the way you want it to be. So Chris, my brother, the people around you do not understand you. You make them feel unsafe and uncertain by showing up as your new version of self, and they resent the fact that they themselves are still caught up in their internal paths of fear and not able to break out, and you have. That's why you're losing your friends. That's why you're losing your family to success. You're not losing your friends and family because you're changing and you're doing anything wrong. As a matter of fact, you're doing it because you're doing everything right, and they see within themselves that they cannot do the right thing, and they hate that, because now every time they see you, you're a reminder of them failing themselves. So be steadfast with your commitment, with your effort to yourself, to your success, to your future, to your family for whom you're doing everything. You're doing all of this hard work for who? For your kids, for your partner, for yourself. Stay consistent and stay committed to the why. The why is the reason you're doing everything you're doing. Stay consistent to the why. Stay committed to the why. Don't forget the why. The why is not to impress the old people of your life who wanted you because you made them feel certain at the place they were in. You know, have you ever, any of you guys watching this on any of our 14 different outlets, 6 different platforms, if you're the only person in the room or if you're amongst the hundreds, it doesn't matter. My conversation is one-to-one to you. Have you ever heard of the saying, misery loves misery? Misery loves the company of more misery? Or suffering loves the company of more suffering, or attracts the company of more suffering? That's literally why you see always people who are, you see criminals hanging out with criminals. You see people who are motivated hanging out with motivated people. People who are all depressed and down, they're hanging out with each other. And that's because they feed off of one another. And this is true with any level of humanity that you look at. Doctors hang out with doctors, lawyers with lawyers, engineers with engineers, servers with servers. Everybody wants to hang out with people that think like themselves because it makes them feel certain and it makes them feel connected. Connection is the prerequisite for love, which is the most profound and foundational desire of the 6 basic human needs. If you cannot be connected, in your mind, you will not be able to experience love. And that is true. Whether it's externally by connecting to others, we accept their and we feel their love, or if we want to go internally and become resourceful by connecting internally to ourselves, we could still experience love. But the love always comes after the connection. You want to connect first, and then you will experience love. So my thing that I want to share with you as I wrap this up as the second question of day 35 of the Power Hour is that don't be bothered by losing those around you that are no longer able to keep up and fly. Because a caterpillar doesn't cry when it turns into a butterfly why the other caterpillars are not there flying with it. It's just flying on its own. You've gone through metamorphosis, you've gone through your change, you've gone through your breakthrough, and now you are literally seeing the caterpillars that are being left behind because they refuse to just open and flap their wings and fly. It's like the saying that the bird inside a cage thinks the external world is not its world. It thinks it's dangerous because if it was born inside the cage and if it was always living inside the cage, the external world, even if the door is left completely wide open, is an unknown to it that is full of fear, and there is a lot of certainty inside the cage. At least I get my food provided for me. At least I have my pet owners that come and love me and they talk to me. Why leave this world? I don't know. There is no right or wrong either, to be honest. The bird's having its own life and the birds outdoors are having their own lives. I don't know which one's right or wrong. It doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong. It's just what serves you. Clearly, growth and success is serving you right now, Chris. And I'm so happy that you're doing this for yourself and it's not serving those around you. So then all you say is, so be it. And try to surround yourself with more of the people that you want to be like. Put yourself in the space of successful people that you want their lives more of. Because remember, your surrounding, your environment always just reinforces who you are more quickly. So don't waste your time. If anybody else is going to catch up with you, they will come to you at one point. They will figure it out on their own, and then you will rekindle those relationships. Somebody told me when I was a teenager, and this really resonated with me and literally changed how I see love in terms of especially my emotional relationships. And it was that anytime you love something, you should let it go. If it leaves, it was never meant to be with you. And if it was meant to be yours, it will always come back. And I really, really deeply believe in this. By holding on to the people around us, by holding on to family, by holding on to those that have been coming around and sticking around, you're not experiencing a loving relationship. You're just experiencing a certain relationship, a relationship filled with certainties. And you don't want that, because once you're on the path of growth, certainty is just an obstacle that anchors you down. You cannot experience growth and certainty at the same time. Completely impossible. Completely impossible. Growth and certainty are not possible, because you cannot have certainty that everything is going to turn out the way I want it to be, and then go through the experience of growth, which is the experience of exploration and taking on risks and facing maybe dangers head on in order for me to tap into new resources and new dimensions and new possibilities. Does that make sense? Snap it out. Perfect. All right. Let's see what else we could talk about. We got another one. Jason Wells from Bristol, UK. Thank you so much, Jason, for messaging us all the way from Bristol, UK. And Jason says, I know that networking is key to growing my business, but I hate small talk and don't feel comfortable selling myself in social situations. How many other people do this? Everybody. Social situations. How do I build meaningful connections without feeling fake or transactional? Yes. This brings me back to Jim Quick and President Clinton conversation. See, the reason most people don't like selling, and by the way, sales skills make you the richest human on this planet. If you want to be financially free, the number one skill you need to master is selling. Because once you know how to sell, you could sell anything to anyone. And that's why most people don't like selling, because they feel like if they want to sell something, they have to pretend to be something that they're not. And that is the biggest mistake you'll make. That greasy car dealer, used car dealer mentality that we associate with people that actually do sales is a 100% false perception of what a good salesperson is like. As a matter of fact, a good salesperson will never try to sell somebody something that does not 100% serve that person. A good salesperson will listen to you, see what your problems are, what your pain points are, and once it understands what your pain points are, if they're confident that their solution is gonna help you to get rid of your pain, of your problem, then they will present their solution to you in a way that it makes sense for you. And you're like, you know what? That actually makes perfect sense. I don't know why I never thought about this. That's a good salesperson, to be honest. And they're amazing salespeople that close thousands and thousands and $1,000 deals. Realtors are the highest ticket sales people that you probably know of. See, once you can master the art of human communication, which means all you got to do is you got to just tune in instead of trying to sell something to the conversation and ask genuine quality questions. If you remember, of the 4 pillars that create the meaning and the life that we're experiencing right now, pillar number 1 was the quality of your question gets you the quality of the answers that you get. The quality of your questions get you the quality of the answers that you get. So anytime you meet somebody new for the first time in your life, what I want you to do is to ask them quality, genuine questions, not conversational, shooting the shit stuff, right? That's why you don't like those small talks. And especially as a man, masculine energy doesn't like small talk. So don't do small talk. I refuse to actually entertain small talk. When I actually visit family and friends and they want to have a small talk, I don't entertain the conversation. I change the conversation and ask them deep questions that I care, because it helps me to get to know their real pain points, because I love them. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I just want to know what my cousin is upset about. I want to know what my sister is being kept awake at nighttime instead of falling to sleep like a baby with. I genuinely care. That's why I'm doing this every day. I care about you. I literally care about you. I don't know you, yet I care about you, because I know that you have your own thoughts, you have your own disempowering beliefs that are keeping you from experiencing life the way you want to. I don't know what the beliefs are, and I don't know what it is that you want to experience. But here's the thing, if you have any dreams, any goals, any missions that you still have not experienced, the only reason for it is because there are some deeply rooted disempowering beliefs, which we call anchors in neurolinguistic programming, that are preventing you from actually realizing that outcome. If it makes sense, snap it out. Yes. So, what does that mean? That means instead of you trying to just go for small talks and conversations of like, let's just do this. Let's just do a role play. I'm in a meeting. I'm in a party. I'm in a networking event. I walk in and I always look around. I look around the room, see who has a smile on. If the person doesn't have a smile on, they're not inviting, don't approach them. When somebody has a smile on, that means they're in a good state. Somebody who's in a good state is open, and somebody who's open gives you an opening to enter into their space. So I always walk in any space with a smile on myself because I'm open to receive, I'm open to connect. And when I see other people in a space that are smiling, that have a nice energy, the first thing I do is I start approaching them. So now I approach them and I put myself in the vicinity, and then I listen. If they're having a conversation, I just listen politely. I say, hey, everybody, how's everybody doing? Start introducing yourself by just telling them who you are, and now listen to the conversation. If they're having a conversation, just say, do you mind if I, include myself? And listen to what they're talking about. Try to pick out the problems that they're trying to discuss. If they're talking about ordinary stuff, that's not your conversation, because suppose they're just having a conversation about something that doesn't interest you and it's just a superficial level of banter, then you just excuse yourself out of that conversation and you say, I'll catch up with you all later. Walk into a different group of people. Now, here's the thing. When it is your turn to ask a question, please ask good quality questions. Instead of, how's everybody doing today? How's your day? Ask them something about themselves that will reveal more information about them to you. So something such as, I love to know more about what excites you in life. Or I love to know in your job, what keeps you up at night? I want to know in your life, what is your biggest current struggle that you're dealing with, that you want to overcome? Now, here's the thing. Just by asking any of those questions, do you think the conversation is going to go back to, yeah, we're just going to go to this game and we just watched the NFL and it was great and I don't know why this team won or that team won, or, Nancy over there is just No, you just changed the entire direction of the conversation, my friend. And as a matter of fact, not only you change the conversation, now you're controlling the direction of that conversation. And this works 100% of the times. See, you're not trying to snoop around, you're trying to learn about them. And what do people love? Humans love talking about themselves. So what you want to do anytime you walk into a new situation, allow people to talk about themselves by guiding the direction of the conversation. So now you're walking away at least learning, what is this person concerned about? Is there anything I can help them with as a business owner? Because now I don't know what your job is. You didn't tell me. You said you're a consulting firm. I don't know what you're consulting about, but if you're in the consulting industry, your job is to provide solutions to problems, no? So then the most important thing is you got to be connecting with everybody that the universe, God, life, energy, existence, whatever you believe in, randomness, whatever you want to think about it, the matrix, whatever you want to think about. When somebody's put in front of you, if you're a consultant, it is your job, or if you're a business person, or if you're in the market to date, it is your job to ask them better quality questions than everybody else they're about to meet on that day at that event. That's how you set yourself apart. That's how you sell for yourself the part. Don't ask stupid questions, please. Understand that the life you experience today is riding on 4 foundational principles. We talked about this in previous episodes. And the first and foremost, the most important one is the quality of the questions that you ask give you the quality of the answers that you get. And that is one of the most foundational pillars on which the life that you're experiencing today is riding. Everything you have and everything you don't have, it all comes from that. And there's 3 more. Your willingness to embrace growth and change, your environment, the 5 people that are closest to you, the 6 people that are closest to you, depends on who you study. I love to go with 6 because the 6 is more whole number for me. It doesn't matter. 5 or 6 people you spend the most amount of your attention on actually create. You're an average of them. And then obviously last, but of course not the least, the last pillar is the meanings and emotions that you give things. Because the meanings you give everything create a separate emotional state within you. And if you remember, that emotional state is now going to drive your ability to make a decision or prevent you from committing yourself to making a decision that you needed to. So these are the 4 pillars on which the life you're experiencing right now, which you call my life, is built upon. Does that make sense? All right. Jason, that was great. I really appreciate the 3 questions that we got to. And let me see. Maybe we can do a... Perfect. So I'm thinking for now, since we are nearing the end of the hour, how about we do some breathing together. If you're here with us, doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're not driving, I want to invite you to take a few minutes and take some breath. Okay? This is it. Not telling you anything, not getting you to do anything crazy. I just want you to breathe. And hopefully, again, if you're not driving or operating any heavy vehicles or a machinery, if you're at work, don't do this. But if you have the opportunity to be sitting on your desk, or if you're just somewhere on your own, please, or if you're even sitting on a coffee shop outside, you don't need to do anything. Just put this earphones in your ears, and I want you to breathe a little bit, okay? Because the most important thing that we need to do internally, physiologically, is to create coherence inside the body. Heart and mind coherence are measured through medical devices such as ECG devices, and we have metrics that can tell us definitely whether we have a state of heart and mind coherence or not. Why is that so important? Because if there is no heart and mind coherence, you're not able to make proper decisions. You go in a fight or flight state. Your body goes in the sympathetic nervous system activation mode, which starts getting your body in that state of 60% of your day-to-day operational life and decisions and feelings, where you are feeling triggered and you're in fight or flight mode. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to actually be able to create the state for yourself where you could bring back emotional mastery to your body, especially to your autonomic nervous system, ANS, by empowering through breath your parasympathetic part of your nervous system to take back control and bring peace to a system that is already under stress. Okay? 90% of all unexplainable and inexplainable medical situations that humans experience are derived directly from stress and its mechanisms within the body that are supposed to regulate stress. So, you want to have a healthier body, you want to have a wealthy life, you need to have your health. If you want wealth, you must have your health in check. If you want to have your health in check, you must be able to have emotional mastery. Emotional mastery means every time I feel like I'm under stress, I have the ability to, within an instant, bring myself back to the place of being centered and not making emotional decisions. How many times have you made an emotional decision that you regretted? How many decisions you've made emotionally that were actually amazing decisions? Doesn't matter if they were good or if they were bad. Doesn't matter if they were made in moments of anger or in moments of absolute elation. Anytime you're emotional, you make a decision, which, by the way, we only make decisions when we are emotional. Bad idea, bad idea. Every business person gets taught this in MBA programs, in business school. You do not want to make emotional decisions. So then let's practice a few breaths, shall we? Okay, so what I want you to do is, again, please, if you're driving a vehicle or operating heavy machinery, you're not going to do this. You're going to go back to this. And since this is the end of the show, you could log out and then come back to it later when you're at home and when you're in your comfort of your own space. What I want you to do is I want you to just go ahead and take a deep breath, but we're going to take a deep belly breath, okay? A belly breath means instead of you opening your chest to bring in oxygen, you're going to open your stomach. You're going to first breathe into your stomach, and then after your stomach is full, you do a second breath, and then you fill up your lungs. So we do a two-stage breath. First, we're going to fill up the stomach, and then we're going to fill up the chest. It's called a two-stage breath. Cool? So let's do this. We're going to start with the belly. And the chest. And you're going to release your breath with a sigh. Now I'm going to give you a heads up. You're going to feel amazing. You're going to feel lightheaded. And you're going to feel maybe your body is going to start tingling. That is perfectly fine. That is exactly what you want to do. It's because you're delivering a lot of oxygen to your brain, which has not been getting it, because for most of us humans, we've been having bad posture, such as dropped shoulders and hunchbacks. And when you do this, your lungs capacity is cut by 40%. Which means you're not even able to get the enough oxygen level that is needed for your body to sustain itself. So what I'm sharing with you is going to make you feel lightheaded. It's going to make you feel maybe tingling over your body, all over your body. That's the natural outcome. We want that, okay? Don't get panicked. Just breathe into it and just let it persist and let it just go on its own. It will come and it will go on its own. So let's do this again. We're going to have a stomach breathing. So we're going to start with, let me see. We're going to start with the stomach first, right? So you're going to go, and then the breath. One more. One more. One more. When you're breathing, try to breathe through your nose. and exhale through the mouth. One more. Fill up the stomach and then the chest. Oh, this is feeling light. One more. One more. Come on, don't give up. One more. Come on. Okay, this time I want you to breathe in and hold your breath, okay? Hold it. So we're going to do the hold one more time. And this one, we're going to hold as long as we can. And anytime you're ready, and by the way, if you want to close your eyes, if you feel comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. It really helps a lot with the breathing. But we're going to breathe into the stomach, then into the chest. Hold your breath for as long as you can. Do it as long as you can. And then you're going to completely exhale and hold the exhale. So holding on the intake, inhale, and holding after we empty the entire air out of our system on the exhale. You ready? Let's do this. On the exhale of the breath now. Hold. And whenever you're ready, just return to normal breathing pace, and we're going to do a 5-second breathing, okay? 5 second in, 5 second out. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's perfect. And I want you to now just check yourself, check your body, check your heartbeat, and see how it feels. How's your body feeling? How's your heart feeling? Enjoying the smile? enjoying the state. This was a beautiful day, another amazing session. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Thank you for doing this for you. Thank you for co-creating this beautiful space. And I want to say that you are a beautiful, powerful, capable being. Don't ever let anyone or anything put any doubt in your mind in terms of how big, how loving, and how capable you are. That's it for today. Love you so much. My name is Bliss, Breakthrough Consultant. And every day, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., we show up for you. If you got any value out of this, please, please, all I ask of you is to just like the video, leave a comment, showing some love, so that the algorithm can understand that it's helping people, and it will get it to more people. I'm here for just you. I don't care if there's a million people watching or you're the only one. As long as you're here, I'll be here with you. All right? Love you so much. Have a blessed rest of Friday, wherever you are on this planet. And see you tomorrow, Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then,